The SEC title game is set, and after a year of uncertainty, after a year of it's A&M, it's Ole Miss. In the preseason, it's going to be Texas. Your boy thought it might be LSU in the preseason. The more things change, the more things stay the same. Once again, in Atlanta, conference title weekend, Georgia and Alabama. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Make sure you're subscribed right here if you're a Georgia fan, if you're a Bama fan. We'll be talking about this matchup a lot. Going to talk about it a lot right now. What's it going to take to win this game? Like, what are some things that we should track ahead of this one? My question is, how much better is Georgia on defense from the first time they played? And how much more multiple is Alabama from the first time they played? Because listen, the first time they played in Athens, Bama's leading rusher had 46 yards. Now, Alabama's kind of lived that way for the majority of the season, but you saw that game against Auburn, and Alabama all of a sudden kind of developing something in the run game. This is something that I think has kind of been percolating for the last couple of weeks. I thought Alabama, even in a loss, quite frankly, against Oklahoma, looked better on the ground, averaging 4 yards a carry. Now, Jam Miller dinged up. We'll obviously keep a pulse on that, but it feels a little bit like maybe Alabama's getting something on the ground. And if Alabama can force Georgia to commit some extra numbers to the run and Ty Simpson gets play action, oh my gosh, dude. That's going to be an aerial assault. It could be a shootout of sorts if that's the world that we're living in for Alabama. But going back to Georgia, how much better are they on the defensive side of the football? Because I think now for Georgia, they've taken some massive strides in just getting more settled. Like a great example is against Georgia Tech, Ellis Robinson made a play on the ball in the air to pick it off that I don't think he would have made a couple of weeks ago. He was a guy against Ole Miss that had a couple of PI penalties, and just over the course of the season, really for the secondary for Georgia, they've seemed a little bit gettable, but over the course of the last few weeks, they've really seemed to settle in. And so you look at what happened in that first matchup, Bama goes 13 of 19 on third down. A lot of those are Ty Simpson darts. Listen, if Alabama goes 13 of 19 on third down again in this game, one, Kirby Smart will probably turn red like a tomato and his head will explode. Two, I'll eat my shoe on this show. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. Now, again, if I do have to eat my shoe, so be it. But that would be shocking to me. So what's the progress there for Georgia on the defensive side of the ball? And then what can their offense do with it? Which kind of leads me to my next point. Can Georgia finally start fast against Bama? The last two matchups between Kirby and DeBoer, Bama has jumped out to a 28-0 lead in 2024 and a 14-0 lead this past season. Very quietly now is the reality that Georgia, in both of those games, has won the second half. So can Georgia get a little bit of something? I'm not even asking Georgia to win the first half. I'm just saying, can we avoid a 14-0 start, Georgia? Can we get ourselves a little bit of a rolling start, if you will? I don't need it to be 21-0 Georgia in the first quarter. Hear me very clearly, but can we get something to make us feel better about where we're going to be in that second half? Because Georgia's been a second half team, it feels like really all year long. And against Bama, that's been the case the last 2 years. Can you set yourself up for success, Georgia, is my big question there. Now, if that's going to happen, it's probably going to happen because Gunnar Stockton is wheeling and dealing. Probably going to happen because the opening script or the first half, I don't want to say script. There's no first half script, but the first half menu, if you will, for one Mike Bobo is finding something they like early on. If that's the case now, okay, here we go, Georgia. Here we go. Now, if it's not the case, it could be same song, third verse, and Kalen DeBoer moves to 3-0 against Kirby Smart, which would be a wild world in itself, but crazy things have happened. All right. Now, in all of this, I'm curious to see who has their best stuff on Conference Title Saturday, which to me is kind of what this game comes down to. Both are traitsy, both can win ugly, both have gritty wins over the course of this year, have one left-handed, but when it comes down to this game, who can make their strength count more? And it's funny, the strength of both teams offensively kind of matches up opportunistically with the weaknesses of both defenses. I told you about Georgia's secondary and the way they've been better as of late. Still the more gettable part of Georgia's defense for my money. So I'm looking at Ty Simpson. I'm looking at Jeremy Bernard. I'm looking at Isaiah Horton. That's kind of the way that I would go about this thing, is I'm attacking that Georgia secondary and making them prove they're actually progressing from what they were early on in the year. That'd be my first part of this. Then for Georgia, the rushing attack. Gunnar Stockton's been awesome, but Georgia is a smash mouth, punish you kind of team up front. Went for over 200 yards against Bama in that first meeting. Didn't matter because Georgia still lost the football game. But which of those matchups for Bama offensively and Georgia offensively are they able to really have the difference maker ingredient in this game. Because I tell you what, if Ty Simpson's able to force the issue against this Georgia secondary and just what I said, jump out to an early lead yet again, I don't know that they're going to be able to climb back in this game is Georgia, the way they've climbed back in several of these games throughout the course of this season. Thinking about the Ole Miss game, the Tennessee game, I don't know they're going to be able to catch Alabama if they surrender the points they surrendered early on in the first two meetings. And then for Georgia, if you can not start slow and you can have that presence on the ground with the line of scrimmage, maybe you're able to score first, get out to a lead yourself, and then maybe you just run the football and you don't give Ty Simpson a chance. Maybe you hold on to the football for the better part of 35-plus minutes. I don't know. Remains to be seen. But we will have more content around this game for you this week. I can't wait for this one. Two of the best coaches in the sport for my money. Two of the best rosters in the sport for my money. And it's going to be an absolute battle in Atlanta. I can't wait for it. Appreciate you locking in. Again, make sure you're subscribed for Cato on the ones and twos from myself, JD PicKell. We love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling. We'll see y'all next time.